I made one mistake, and it changed my life forever. Not in small ways that people might notice, but in ways that touched every part of me. My thoughts, my relationships, my sense of self. At first, I didn't realize it. I told myself it was harmless, something I could fix before anyone noticed, a tiny misstep I could erase if I acted quickly enough. But mistakes like this don't stay small. They grow quietly, invisibly, weaving themselves into the fabric of your life until suddenly they're everywhere. They live in your mind, your actions, your every decision. That one choice became a shadow I couldn't escape, a storm that consumed everything I had built. And the scariest part was that I couldn't run from it, not even in my own thoughts. The moment it happened, I remember everything vividly. My hands were trembling, my heart pounding, my stomach twisted in a knot, and for a brief second, I felt a rush, a thrill that comes from doing something forbidden, something reckless, something just on the edge. Part of me wanted to stop, part of me knew I shouldn't, and part of me ignored every warning, telling myself, it's just one mistake, I can fix it, no one will know. But deep down, I already knew the truth. Once a mistake like this is made, nothing is ever the same again. The first few days after it happened, life seemed normal. I smiled, laughed, interacted like nothing had changed. But beneath the surface, everything had shifted. Every word I spoke, every glance I gave, every interaction I had became a calculation. I avoided friends who might see through me. I avoided topics that could lead to questions I wasn't ready to answer. I constantly watched myself in mirrors, in reflections, in video calls, trying to make sure nothing about me revealed the truth. Every day became a tightrope walk, balancing a secret that could destroy me with one wrong step. And nights? Sleep became impossible. I would lie awake for hours replaying the moment again and again, each replay adding weight, each flashback sharpening the guilt. Weeks turned into months, and the fear started to creep into every part of my life. Simple conversations became unbearable. Every interaction was a minefield. I saw threats everywhere, sometimes in the smallest gestures, the slightest tone, the briefest glance. I withdrew from people. I started avoiding events, gatherings, even places I used to love. My world shrank. The mistake was no longer just a single action. It was a force, reshaping my mind, my personality, my life. I wasn't myself anymore. I was someone defined by caution, fear, and secrecy. Even surrounded by people, I felt completely alone. Then came the first real brush with exposure, a casual conversation. One I had experienced countless times before suddenly became a nightmare. Two people, neither aware of the other's knowledge, ended up in the same room. Panic surged instantly. My heart raced. My mind scrambled. My hands shook. My voice faltered. I tried to lie, to excuse, to distract, but nothing worked. The looks, the glances, the subtle suspicion, they were all there. And in that instant, I realized that this mistake was no longer just an event. It had become a living thing, shaping my life, controlling my actions, dictating my thoughts. I was trapped. The following months were a slow, suffocating spiral. Relationships crumbled silently. Friends who had once trusted me became distant. Family members I loved seemed wary, suspicious, even if they had no idea what I had done. Opportunities disappeared. Anxiety became my constant companion. Panic was always lurking, waiting for the smallest trigger. A misheard comment, an accidental glance, a question I wasn't prepared to answer, all felt like potential exposure. My mistake had rewritten my identity. I was no longer fully me. The weight of it consumed everything. I began having nightmares, vivid and unrelenting. I would wake up drenched in sweat, my heart pounding, replaying the choice over and over, every detail sharper than the last. Sometimes I would hear echoes of my own voice confessing the truth, over and over, in the empty silence of my apartment. Other times I would imagine the reactions of those around me, their disappointment, anger, and shock. Each imaginary replay felt painfully real. Weeks bled into months, months into years. The isolation was unbearable. I withdrew further from life. Every interaction was calculated, every word measured, every gesture thought through. Even mundane conversations became tests, traps to navigate without slipping. I avoided people who knew too much, avoiding any connection that could expose me. And yet, at the same time, I craved connection, human contact, a way to share the weight, but I couldn't. Then came the moments that almost exposed me. Small coincidences, near misses, and random encounters that could have revealed the truth. Each one felt like a mini nightmare. A friend mentioning an unrelated detail, a casual comment about my life, someone I hadn't told everything suddenly asking a question I wasn't prepared for. My heart would race. My mind would scramble. My palms would sweat. And I learned to navigate these moments with careful lies, half-truths, and silence. But each near exposure left me more exhausted, more fragile, more desperate. Eventually, the internal pressure became unbearable. I had to confront the truth, at least inside myself. Night after night, I sat alone, replaying every detail, every choice, every moment that led me here. I allowed myself to feel the full weight, the guilt, the shame, the regret. I relived the adrenaline of the choice, the immediate panic, the slow realization of the damage it caused. And in that confrontation, I understood the truth. Carrying a secret unconsciously destroys you far more than the external consequences ever could. To reclaim my life, I had to face it fully, honestly, without excuses. The process of rebuilding was slow, agonizing, relentless. I couldn't undo the past, I couldn't erase what I had done, I couldn't restore the lost trust or opportunities. But I could rebuild myself internally. I examined every choice, every weakness, every flawed decision that led me to this moment. I reconstructed my sense of self deliberately, piece by piece. The mistake remained, a scar, a shadow, but it no longer ruled me unconsciously. I carried it consciously, as a lesson, as a warning, as a proof of what happens when one moment spirals out of control. Even years later, the impact lingers. Every decision I make, every conversation, every relationship carries echoes of that mistake. I am more cautious, more self-aware, more reflective. I have rebuilt parts of my life that I thought were lost forever. Regret remains, yes, but it is transformed into guidance, a constant reminder to live consciously, to think carefully, and to value integrity above convenience. The person I became after that mistake is stronger, more resilient, more capable of surviving life's worst storms. If you are watching this right now and feel like a single mistake is consuming your life, understand this. It is not the mistake that defines you. It is how you confront it, how you live with it, and how you grow from it. Secrets, guilt, and regret only grow when ignored. Facing the truth, reflecting, and acting consciously gives you back control. No one can erase the past, but you can shape your future. Awareness, courage, and reflection are your only paths to reclaiming your life. If this story made you pause, reflect, or question your own choices, do not ignore that feeling. It is the first step toward growth, recovery, and rebuilding. Subscribe for more raw, real, and deeply human stories like this, because sometimes the moments that cost us everything are also the moments that teach us the most about who we are, what we can survive, and how we can rise stronger than ever.